And good morning. It is a Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, and we have officially? What the hell is that? It's going so well. First day of football season. Hello. Hi. I talk for a living. We've officially reached football season. Ravens Chiefs tonight in Kansas City. And immediately following the game, we know where you're going to be. You're going to be hanging out at PressBoxOnline.com/gameday for Project Gameday. I'll be there. Reeta will be there. The cast and crew. And, of course, part of that group. He is our resident Super Bowl champion. He is our friend, Mr. Femi Ayanbadejo. And he's kicking off football season with us this morning. What's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, Glenn? How's it going, man?
Everything is good, dude. What's going on in your world? I know that you've got a new venture that we're going to be talking about, but, like, besides that, what does summer look like in your life? What's going on with the kids? Like, give me the whole rundown.
Oh, man. Where do I start? You know, I forget it's September. Only reason that I know it's September is because it's football season. But, you know, my daughter's out of high school now. She's in college, you know, living in L.A. Actually, she's not even in college this semester. She's been modeling since she was 15, so that's going really well. So we said no school this year.
Wow.
Just work and do your thing and enjoy that. It's been going really great. My son's a senior at McDonough. Running track, doing great, good student. You know, I got a couple work ventures. I do a lot of consulting work and keynote speaking, motivational speaking, executive leadership stuff. Got a new partnership with NASA that starts this week. Yeah, man. So I'm burning midnight oil. Brother.
You're the only guy in the world that's going to spend part of your week hanging out with NASA and part of your week hanging out with me. That's the only human.
That's actually an interesting split there. I like that. I like the way you put that.
We're going to talk about BetYard AI in 1 second. Before we do that, let's look ahead to tonight. Where are you at, just big picture, with this game? What it means? We know, obviously, it's the rematch. We know all that stuff. But it's this weird feeling that I've had, Femi, where, like, this game means everything but also nothing at all. Because even if the Ravens go down and win by, like, 3 touchdowns, we're going to be on postgame tonight, and at some point we're going to say, hey, that's cool, glad you did it, but you're going to have to show it to us in January.
Yeah, it's we don't want to put too much on the first game, but it's the only game that matters because it's the one right in front of you, right? So I think as fans that are emotionally invested, you know, as pundits that like to speak about it, it puts us in an interesting place because our last experience was not what we expected. We expected more, and we know we left some meat on the bone in regard to what could have been accomplished and what could have been, because I still believe that the 2023 Ravens are the best Ravens from a talent perspective in Ravens history. I say that every day. Now, they didn't win a Super Bowl, but from a talent perspective, you know, 1 through 53, you know, 1 through 80, however many guys they had on the practice squad and guys on IR, and, you know, you had coaches and staff, 1 through 120, you know, an amazing organization, accomplished a lot last year, but the ultimate goal was missed. And I think that will prove as motivation. I wonder where the Chiefs are emotionally and mentally. They were in the same position last year, opening night, and Detroit came in and beat them. And they still won the Super Bowl. So it's just an interesting dichotomy to think about what the Ravens are feeling in regard to some regret and angst and frustration and a little anger probably, which I think is going to go a long way this season. But ultimately, the games are played on the field, and the past is the past. And once the kind of gun goes off and that clock starts ticking down from 60 minutes, you're in that moment, and whoever executes better is going to win the game. So there's a lot of mental, emotional, and physiological stuff happening tonight. It's going to happen. It's happening for us now as fans. It's going to happen for them on the field. But ultimately, the game's played between the lines, and it's 1 of 17, and hopefully it's 1 of maybe 20, right, for the Ravens in regard to their march.
I hope so. The one football thing I'll give you, and then we'll talk about what you're doing. I think there is a lot of consternation about the turnover on the offensive line. And look, that'll happen, but it's not veterans. It's guys that are new to this and going up against Chris Jones in week 1 and the possibility that could end up being the story of the game. Is that too over-dramatic to phrase it that way?
No, I don't think it is. I think that we all have concerns and questions that need to be answered. And I don't know if they'll all be answered tonight, but I think that running the ball is always easier than pass protecting, right? And I think when we talk about running the ball in that AFC Championship game and what they need to do tonight and who they brought in, behind Lamar. I don't know if you saw that meme with Deadpool and Wolverine. Lamar's Deadpool and Derrick Henry is Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like, it's an amazing meme. I encourage you guys to go on to Instagram and check it out. But I think it summarizes what short yardage and running the ball is going to mean for the Ravens this year. And it's going to come to that tonight. We're going to end up in 3rd and 2. We're going to end up in 4th and 1. We're going to end up on the goal line. And the guy that we brought in to solve that issue, and it really wasn't an issue last year. I just think we kind of got away from it for whatever reason. But you have your bell cow, and I think you got to use him. And he's had great success against the Chiefs in the past with the Titans. And I would say the Titans are not the Ravens. But once again, this offensive line, is going to grow up fast, and we're going to see a lot of it tonight.
And I do have faith in the Ravens scouting and development along the offensive line, and I believe these guys are going to become football players. It's the idea of it being week 1, right? Like, that is a lot to throw at it at week 1. All right, so Femi, a lot of times when you and I would be doing these shows last season, you would be telling me, like, off the air about this company that you had and some of the teams that you were in on that particular week because of the data that you had been looking at and what you had been working with. And I know you've been rolling it out this week. What is BetYard AI? How did this all come about? And how are you trying to use it to help people make some money this football season?
Yeah, so anyone that's listening, go to betyardai.com. What we basically do is we use AI to make NFL predictions. We focus on the spread, the point total, and the money line. Really, our bread is buttered on the spread and point total. We have this signal that we've been digging out, looking at historical data, looking at ELO, looking at quarterback play, looking at offensive and defensive philosophy, looking at divisional matchups and interconference play, how teams play at home, how they play on the road, how travel affects the way that they play. We found these hidden gems using AI that really give us an advantage over Vegas in regard to arbitrage and market inefficiencies in the Vegas lines. We've been building this now for 4 years. This is our 4th season. We've been selling predictions to other companies, not on our platform. BetYardAI.com is our platform now. And we had a lot of success last year. For example, our high confidence spread picks were 74.3% accuracy. I know that's bonkers. That sounds crazy to people. About 25% of our picks fall under this high confidence threshold. It's a signal that meets certain criteria. Our point total high confidence picks were just under 70%. And we have another layer called baseline, which is just our general predictions. And those are right around 60%. So if you think you're of your normal average capper, your normal average handicapper, the best ones over the course of a season are around 55%. They'll be in the top 1%.
No
We're
question.
blowing them out of the water. Yeah. The professional handicappers, right?
Yep.
Anyone could be hot for a week or 2 or 3 or 4, but to be hot for a season, we've been hot for basically 3 seasons now, And so we have a discount code NFL30. You can get 30% off any of our 3 packages. No matter what you do, if you sign up now, you can get a free week. And we also have another package called a performance guarantee, which means that if we're not over 50% accurate on our high confidence picks, you get the next week free. So we're sweetening the pot right now. We just want people to get on board, sign up. We're going to send you an email when we have our high confidence picks rolling out. They're going to roll out between Thursday and Saturday. Obviously, most of the games are on Sunday. On occasion, Thursday night games might have a signal where either the point total or the spread itself might hit that high confidence threshold, and you'll get alerted before the game starts. Obviously, usually right around now, or typically in the early afternoon. But we're really proud of what we've done. The full team is all Hopkins centric. One of my professors from Hopkins and I put this together we met while I was doing my MBA at Hopkins, working on some AI in regard to health and wellness. And we've kind of pivoted to this opportunity in sports betting. And we're not a sports book. We're a sports information technology company. So we don't take bets. We don't necessarily make bets. What we do is we provide information and guidance and insights on how people can win. Our ROI, basically, for every $100 you bet, you're going to win about $35. That accounts for all your losses and everything. A typical capper, like I said, the professionals, you're going to get about $5 of ROI on every 100 over the course of a 55% accuracy with them. With us and our 70 plus accuracy, and I'm actually using 71% on that 35% ROI. the ROI is actually higher than that when you look at just our spread
That's
being
bonkers.
just south of 75% accurate.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
Yeah, Glenn, if you want to, you can go to betyardai.com yourself. You can pull it up. You can take it for a spin. Like I said, use NFL 30, get that discount, get that free week. Yeah. And so, hopefully you and I can kind of talk through post.
So this is the crazy part, right? Because some people are going to hear this and be like, okay, sure. Femi said to me when we started talking about, hey, how do we involve this? He said, what if I came back on with you after every weekend and I'm going to be accountable. We're going to talk about how everything played out. And I was like, wow, that's different. A lot of, you know how this goes. You bring up these handicappers. The handicapper's I'll come on Thursday and I'll give you the picks, right? And then nobody ever checks. There's nothing there. You said, let's do it the other way around. I'll come back on Tuesday every week, and we can talk about what happened that week and what our success rate was. And we can have an actual conversation about that, which I think goes to back up exactly what you're saying, that this isn't just blind handicapping. This is legitimate data-driven information that you are very confident in that is going to be able to have success for folks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of people, they get gun shy after there's a bad week. Our goal is to make sure that we're held accountable. That's the whole point of the performance guarantee on one of those tiers. Obviously, if you want to buy a different tier, you don't get the performance guarantee, but you're paying for the performance guarantee when you get it. But you're guaranteed not to lose. I mean, we're backing up the performance guarantee with a over 50% accuracy guarantee. That's kind of the whole point of this. And yes, I want to come on and talk about, what the numbers were telling us, why it was telling us certain things, how injuries, matchups, maybe underperformance by players, maybe some players exceeding certain levels of performance, coaching decisions, maybe, trip the line up to some degree. There's a lot of different things in play when it comes to Vegas lines and Vegas predictions, and we're pretty sharp, especially early in the season. Vegas gets better as the season goes because obviously they have more information on teams.
Right.
Our AI is actually doing a lot of the calculations and crunching numbers. And some things we don't even know how the AI works sometimes. That's the beauty of AI. We put the inputs in, but sometimes in the background, we don't necessarily know how it got such a precise answer. But we've been studying it now for 4 years, so we don't discount it. We actually trust it at this point. I'm actually pretty emotionless when it comes to the data itself and what we see. We do have a human in the loop, which is me and my co-founder, and we have a team of 7, and we go over every pick and everything, before we release it out to our customers. But we feel really confident about what we can do over the course of a season.
It's betyardai.com, and again, the code is NFL30 for you to get 30% off right now, and it'll usually be Tuesdays. Next week is going to come back on with us on Monday, but typically after that it'll be Tuesdays throughout the course of the season, and we're just going to go over what we learned from that week and what was interesting, and we're going to talk about it. But again, betyardai.com, and that code NFL30. And hopefully we're having a joyous, pleasant conversation this evening and not screaming about the idea that you got Derrick Henry and you still only ran the ball 6 times or something like that. Hopefully
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think. I would like to hope there is no chance in hell. Brother, I'm really looking forward to this, and I can't wait to dive into BetYard AI, and we will talk to you tonight for Project Gameday, and we'll be talking to you every week throughout the season.
Yes, sir. Good to see you guys.
Thanks, buddy. Femi Ayanbadejo. Super Bowl XXXV champion. Appreciate him taking the time for us this morning. And, yeah, Project Gameday gets underway tonight. I don't even want to allow my mind to, venture into the other place. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to even have the thought. I keep talking about how a win could prove to be joyless, and it could. A win could prove to be joyless. It would be great. I don't think tonight would be the night it would go to joyless. I think by Monday it would be back to being joyless. I think it would be back to, all right, that's cool, glad you did it. But what are you going to do in January? I think it'd be right back to that. For some people, it would be tonight. There would absolutely be people that are still so scarred by January. For example, the people that paid $1,300 for a ticket or more, and there are a lot of you that did that. A lot of us that thought to ourselves, man, I bet those ticket prices are going to crash on the day of the game, and just kept looking, and never happened. Just kept saying.
Were you going to go? You were going to try?
I was only going to go because my wife was angry that I wasn't going with her.
So she was going.
My wife was going.
Got it.
And she wanted me to go with her. She went with Forrester.
That makes sense,
all
right?
The things. She went with Drew. And she,
duo.
yeah, the two of them. It's a meeting of the minds when those two get together. Could solve a lot of the world's problems when Mrs. Clark and Mr. Forrester hang together. So she went with Drew, and her mother ended up taking the other ticket. So I got 2 tickets, and her mother ended up taking the other one. I had said all along, I'm not going. It's going to be miserable. Like,
you knew they were going to lose.
That wasn't the reason. It was also because, I take post-game seriously, and I think I told you, I had some pretty we had talked openly that we were already planning a Super Bowl trip. Griffin and I were going to go broadcast from the Circa that week, and I was working with a couple of partners on, I think I can say out loud, a huge pregame all-time low concert the night before in Vegas, and I had a lot of spinning plates at that point, and I kind of didn't want to go because I wanted to be on my P's and Q's for being able to dot I's and cross T's very quickly after the game. So between doing game day and then trying to get all that stuff launched for a Super Bowl trip, I was like, I'm not going to go. But I did say, hey, if tickets come down to like $500, it'd be really dumb of me to not go to the first AFC Championship game in Baltimore in eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So I had decided the week of the game that if that was the case, that I would monitor tickets, and if they crashed, and I was even planning like waking up on Sunday morning and driving in and maybe going to like Be More Around Town's tailgate and just sort of hanging out and watching on my phone to see what was going on.
Maybe run into somebody who's like Glenn.
Yeah, right.
Takes you with them.
You know what? That has happened. That has happened. So that was sort of my thought process, right? And then I kept watching during the week, and I was like, boy, they're not – that crash ain't happening. That crash – so I'm talking to people that I know in the ticket business. They're like, just wait. You might have to hold out till Sunday morning. You're smart to go to the game. Just be there. And, like, hour before the game, just see – particularly, like, hold out and see how bad the weather is. And, it could break for you. They were like, maybe not to 500, but like 650, 700, maybe you could break in that area. I'm like, all right. Never happened. Never broke. Below 1,000. Never broke at all. Went the other way. So for those people that spent, exorbitant amounts of money on one football ticket to then watch their team run the ball 6 times, I think those people are so scarred that they won't even be able to enjoy it tonight if the Ravens win. The Ravens win, there will be a whatever, like, sense to it. I can't even be like mad at them and tell them, oh, you're awful. Like, how dare I get it. Those scars are real. It's the awkward part about today being season opener day in the NFL is that we're still dealing with it. We're still not past the coping part of all of this. I keep trying to talk to people about what the feeling was after the Lee Evans game, after the Billy Cundiff game. Because that's the direct comparison. The direct comparison would be, hey, the last time the Ravens lost an AFC championship game, things were pretty good a year later. Now, you might say, hey, that it is different because, like, part of what you were dealing with, I remember that offseason well. I remember doing a lot of national radio hits, and I remember constantly the conversation had turned after the Billy Cundiff-Lee Evans game. A lot of the national conversation was, wow, Joe Flacco outplayed Tom Brady in the AFC championship game. And instead of the conversation being driven by disappointment in a bizarre way for the rest of the country, the conversation was more driven by, that was eye-opening. That was Joe Flacco's finest moment. That was fortification that maybe he really could do this. Now, that conversation shifted after, I did the event with Joe Flacco, and he said he was the best quarterback in football, and everybody was super.
He was. Yeah.
Well, he did win the Super Bowl. Everybody was super weirdo about it. Like, the conversation shifted. But the feeling wasn't the same because that still felt like a team that was on the way up, whereas last year's team felt like it was the dominant team. Like, it didn't need another step. They were supposed to have surpassed everyone. And as we've rehashed over and over again, we felt like going into that game, they were the better team than the Chiefs. We didn't feel that going into the 2011 AFC Championship game. Nobody thought the Ravens were the better team than the Patriots. We just thought they had a chance. Ironically, the 2011 team, in hindsight, might have been better than the 2012 team. The 2012 team was the team that got it done. There is a total possibility that there's a familiar script to this year. That what happened in the AFC Championship game fuels this group, and it carries with them all the way through a playoff run and all the way through getting over the hump and winning the Super Bowl. But it's just tough for us right now because it didn't feel it's not the shock of one play that didn't go your way. It's the utter egg that was laid that day and the demons that exist because of it. And nothing that happens between now and January can exorcise those demons. The only thing can be what you do in the playoffs. But it's a reminder, as Ray Lewis would always say, it's a journey, right? Like, we want to skip ahead, and that's not an option. Like, they're going to play all of these games anyway, and we're going to react to all of these games, and we're going to try to learn what we can learn from these games. And the conversation's going to come up a number of times. What are we seeing that can teach us about what this might look like in the playoffs? Because that's going to be our vision for the entirety of this year. It's probably going to be the most trying regular season because it is going to be very difficult. We had joy last year during the regular season. San Francisco and Miami, joyous, emotional wins, meaningful. It's going to be hard. Even the Thursday night win against the Bengals. It's going to be hard to have joyous, emotional, regular season results this year. It's all going to feel like medicine. Short of like something going really wrong and then they have to win a bunch of games just to get into the playoffs. Like, it's all going to feel like taking your medicine. Like, you just got to get through it. It's not exactly a commercial for Ravens season, baby. But it's what it is.
Well, people are going to watch anyway. They don't need our help.
Quickly, let's do this. There's not much to say about it. Obviously, no man of the match last night.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring local food, shopping, and fun for all. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront, vibrant small towns, and family entertainment. Tickets on sale now at maryland5star.us.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The only thing that's particularly disappointing about last night is the Albert Suarez thing, where, like, just as we're convincing ourselves this is the number 2 starter in the playoffs.
Well, he's not going to have to face the White Sox in the playoffs.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
You're right about, but this goes back to what is Albert Suarez? Like, we want to believe, and for early in the year we believed it, and then it all fell apart. I don't know if Albert Suarez is a quality major league pitcher or complete smoke and mirrors. I don't know. And that, again, even one loss to the Chicago White Sox. I do blame myself and Kevin Brown for the conversation that we had yesterday. It's on us. We should have known better. I'm sorry. I'll try to do better moving forward. But even one loss to the Chicago White Sox, as disastrous as it feels, the Yankees turned around and lost last night too. So you're still in first place. It's not the end of the world. The tangible part of it, I think there's two tangible parts about last night. The first is Albert Suarez. And this ongoing, what is Albert Suarez it's all vibes with Albert Suarez. We feel as good about Albert Suarez as whatever the thing he did in his previous start. And because of that, today he'd still be in the playoff rotation, but one start could change that. Especially with Grayson Rodriguez, making progress in his rehab. Although even with Grayson Rodriguez making progress in his rehab, I'm not sure that there's a fourth. Albert Suarez would still be the fourth in a playoff rotation. And then the other part of it, too, is that you were hoping that this was the get-right series and that this was the series that injected life into this lineup and that it would carry over. Well, it didn't even carry through the series. So you don't feel great about that going to Tampa this weekend.
They're coming here.
Oh, right. They're coming here. I think I've said that twice this week. That they were going to. Why did I think they were going to Tampa this weekend? I don't know what's going on with that.
You just want them out of town. You're sick.
Is that what it is? Yeah. No, because Springsteen's Sunday night.
They're definitely home this weekend.
There's no way they're doing a baseball game and a concert on the same day.
Well, they play. The Springsteen is Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday.
At the
Yeah.
Ravens?
No, at
the Camden
Yards.
I guess
That's got to be why I think the series was in Tampa.
Okay.
They're actually going to attempt to do a baseball game.
The game's at 1:30, but
there's no way. Am I missing something here?
Springsteen's what, 7, 8?
There's just no. You can't build out. This is ridiculous. That's got to be the reason why.
Sure. Yeah. I guess that's a fair assumption.
Holy crap!
But they are
man.
home. They are in fact home this weekend.
Oh, it's next Friday. I don't know why I thought it was Sunday
Springsteen
night.
is next Friday.
I don't know why I thought it was Sunday night. This is on me, man. Dude, hi, Glenn Clark. It's butchered everything.
Tomorrow night's Iron Splash.
Accountability, man. Yeah, of course it is. I did know that. I don't know why I convinced myself that Springsteen was Sunday night. I have no clue why I convinced myself of that. Hi, look at me, Glenn Clark. Complete idiot. Complete idiot. You know why it is? It's because he's in D.C. on Saturday night.
Okay.
He's in D.C. Saturday night, so I think I just assumed it was back-to-back nights.
I thought you were just trying to get yourself psyched up
No.
for Sunday since the Ravens don't play.
No, not that. No, not that.
Springsteen doing back-to-back shows.
I guess that's true.
Different cities.
It's way too old for that. But they're different cities, but they're right next to each other. For God's sake.
Different sets.
But probably, yes, he does that all the time. All right. We've solved that problem. Take that off the... Jesus. We come back in. Sorry, everyone. Completely on me. I can't even try to blame Griffin for this one. And you know how much I love blaming Griffin. Not just all on me.
I corrected it, though.
100%. One of the
Rare.
just a boof among boofs. Gino Gradkowski is going to join us.
Stecca checks in, by the way. He says, good morning.
Good morning, Thank you.
It would remind us how terrible the weather was for the championship game.
What was the weather for the
I thought it was a lot better than the Houston game. Was it rainy, but it was 60 degrees?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
There you go.
Well, he came in from Arizona, so everything.
Okay,
I guess we're not going to have time to take a break now. I screwed that up. Love you, buddy. Good to hear from you. He would have known when the Springsteen show was. I think my brain has just run a bunch of dates into each other recently, and that's why I had forgotten there was a Springsteen show. I have a ticket for the Springsteen show. I had forgotten about it. It was supposed to be last year.
Oh, okay.
He got sick, so they had to postpone it. And I just utterly and completely forgot about it until a buddy of mine recently was like, hey, dude, we're going to Springsteen, right? I was like, oh, right. That's a thing. Totally forgot. Completely forgot. And then I think I saw Weinman posting about how the D.C. show was Saturday night. I was like, oh, I guess that means that the Baltimore show is Sunday night. This is colossal failure on my part. I still have a ticket to this show. It's next Friday. I wonder if I have plans. I wonder if I'm supposed to be working. I should probably look into that. Jesus. This is bad.
Stecca says it was pissing rain.
It was pissing. I don't remember.
And windy and cold.
I don't remember it being
I'm pretty
that.
sure it was like.
I remember it being that
maybe
way.
Like 50s.
I remember my wife sending me pictures pregame that it was like that. I do think that might have played a factor too in why I decided not to go downtown ahead of time and being like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any of this.
What's the weather in Kansas City tonight?
That's a good question. What is the weather in Kansas City tonight? I don't think it's going to make a difference. It's probably going to be a very pleasant evening for a football game if I had to imagine. Although right now is when they're calling for rain
before the game. It's like some showers in the afternoon.
Okay. Well, what is that? That doesn't mean anything.
And then it'll be around 80 when the game kicks.
Yeah, come on. Jesus. All right. Anyway, so no man of the match, obviously, for last night as the Orioles lose 8-1. Before the Ravens game kicks off tonight, I actually am going to be over at Stevenson calling their football opener. And I was doing my homework for the game this week, and something jumped off the page at me. I said, what the hell? Because they're playing Rowan in their season opener. And I noticed that Rowan had a new head coach and a new coaching staff this year. And I said, all right, I got to go ahead and get to know who these guys are. And I'm looking at it, and I said, wait a second. I got to double check on this. I think I recognize this name. I think this person might be one of my favorite people that's ever come through the Baltimore Ravens. And sure enough, the new offensive coordinator and O-line coach for Rowan, who will be back in Owings Mills this evening, is Ravens Super Bowl champion Gino Gradkowski, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Gino, it's Glenn. It's been way too long, brother. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning, my friend.
Of course, Glenn. Yeah, it's great to hear from you. And happy to be on with you this morning. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I got so much to do. First of all, I got to talk to you about, I should refer to you as what's left of Gino Gradkowski. I see this picture of you. You've done the bit that everybody else has done. How much weight have you lost?
I dropped about 70 for my playing days.
And
didn't need to hold that weight anymore.
That's the thing. I don't think that people realize about offensive linemen. Like, this is not just like how you're built. This is like you have to be at weight in order to be able to play at that level, and it can do like real damage to your body.
Yeah. My knees are very happy that I dropped that weight. And yeah, towards the end of my career, it started to get a little difficult holding that weight on. So, the first several pounds came off pretty easy, and then had to do a little extra work for the rest. But yeah, you see a lot of guys. I know Marshall Yonda trimmed down significantly.
Yep.
I remember when Burke retired.
Oh my gosh.
It felt like 2 months later.
Dude.
He was a model, in the magazine. But yeah, it's just for health reasons. I knew if I didn't do it right away, it'd be harder to do it later on. So I just stuck with my training regiment that I was on as a player and just stopped eating like an offensive lineman.
I bumped into Burke, to your point, not long after the season, and I didn't realize he came up and he put his arm around me, and I was like, who the hell is this? Legitimately had no idea who the guy was. Gino, the path to coaching, right? Take me through. Did you always know? Was it something that was interesting to you? And obviously, I think then the follow-up would be why Rowan? How did this opportunity come about?
Yeah, so no, actually, I wasn't interested in coaching really at all as a player. A lot of my teammates would always mess with me and call me Coach Gino just because of, I guess I had that coaching vibe as a player, but I never had any interest in coaching. When I got done playing, I went back to the University of Delaware and did some student athlete development stuff. And when I was there, after being away from playing for a few years, realized that, man, I miss football so much, and I wanted to get back into it in some capacity. And I live in South Jersey now, near where my wife grew up, and Rowan's only about 15 minutes from here. So it was an easy, transition into coaching. I actually coached in the UFL this past spring with my brother for the Battlehawks. Which was a great experience. But yeah, I didn't think as a player that I would get the same satisfaction from football as a coach, but I was wrong, man. I absolutely love it. It's awesome to be part of the game. One of my favorite parts about being a player was the game planning and the the strategy part of trying to figure out defenses and things like that. So, you still get that excitement as a coach too.
Dude, do you? I'm going to say the wrong word here because if I say hobby, you're going to be like, bro, this is a job. But I think you know what. I think you're going to understand what I'm saying. Is this commitment? Like, I want to keep doing this. I know this is part of it, or is it more of the, hey, as you pointed out, it's close to home. It's a good thing for me to be doing. Whatever happens, happens.
I think if your hobby can become your job, you hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is for me. Football, I started playing football when I was 4 years old. It was such a big part of my family growing up, and I absolutely love the game, love what it's done for me, the opportunities that it's given me. And, I've always been passionate about helping younger athletes and trying to use my experiences for good to help, other guys that are going through it now. So it's funny because it actually started as a hobby, because when I left my job at Delaware and was, starting to pursue coaching, I saw that Rowan didn't have an offensive line coach. This was 2 years ago. And I reached out, and my first gig was with them as a part-time coach, barely making any money, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, it's led to this, which is a great opportunity. I'm very excited to be the play caller now. And I can't wait to get started tonight.
Do you criticize yourself? Like, are you your harshest critic? Like, will you go back if after tonight something doesn't work? Will it sit with you for like 3 days? Will you be all over yourself? Like, dude, what were you thinking there?
Yeah, just as I was as a player.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll be kicking myself if things don't go as planned. But that's just part of it. But that's the great part about the game, because you're never going to be perfect. There's always going to be mistakes, but I preach this to the players, and I know I have to live it out myself. You always have to look at yourself first, because if you don't, then you're just making excuses and you're not going to find ways to get better. But if you look at yourself first, then you'll figure out ways that you can continue to improve.
He is Ravens Super Bowl XXXV champion, Gino Gradkowski. He's now the offensive coordinator at Rowan. They're playing at Stevenson tonight, so he's back in town, which is really cool. And he's with us here at GCR. So I guess, dude, tell me about the team, right? Because I am doing this game tonight. Like, I'm legitimately working. I know you inherit like a pretty decent group of players, including, I guess when you take a job like this, it's nice to have a quarterback built in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our guys did a great job this training camp, working hard. Coach Rowley had a great plan throughout training camp to push these guys and to start to build a new culture. And, the guys have responded really well to it. And I'm excited about the offense that we have. We just got to, I know it'll take some time to continue to gel. Week one isn't going to always be our best game, and it shouldn't be. You should get better every week. So, we have the weapons that we need. It's just a matter of me, trying to get them in the right spot and make it easy for them to do what they do best.
I know you are in your heart of hearts the road grader type, right? Like, is that the type of offense that you're going to bring? I want these guys up front to get the opportunity to get downfield and be bullies?
Well, yeah, I mean, I want them to have that mindset regardless of the plays that are called. You can always have that type of mindset, even if you're in 10 personnel, 11 personnel. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can have that downhill bully type of mentality regardless, even if you're pass protecting. So I want them to embrace that and to show it on the field. But, yeah, we'll try to mix it up and kind of just see what we do best and build on that.
All right, so you know why this is crazy to me, right? Like, that everything about this, for people that, like, Gino has always been one of my favorites, but one of my favorite things is that, like, you were the guy that did the Banana Sprite Challenge, correct?
Yeah, it did. Yes, I remember that.
So can you?
I forgot about that.
So I'm thinking about rookie Gino Gradkowski, the guy that was like, hell yeah, I'll do whatever, right? Like, now being the guy that you probably have to say to these guys sometimes, hey, stop being idiots. Like, there's got to be a weird, like, full circle moment that's got to come from all of this, right?
Right. Hey, listen, you got to always be willing to take on a challenge, regardless of what it is. So I believe it.
I don't remember. Were you successful with the banana? So it's 2 bananas and a Sprite, right? Was that the deal?
Yeah.
And
I can't remember. I know I remember Pitta and Joe being the two that were kind of orchestrating the whole thing, egging me on with it. I can't remember if I accomplished it, but I'm gonna just say that I did.
Yeah, we can absolutely rewrite history in this moment and say
Yeah,
that you were the
right.
one that proved that the Banana Sprite Challenge was no challenge whatsoever. It was just enjoying 2 bananas and a Sprite, and why did we think that was ever a thing? We can rewrite history that way.
Yeah, so my 2 biggest accomplishments in 2012 was winning the Super Bowl and completing the Banana Sprite Challenge.
I would say they're both right up there. You jest. But our friend Bradley Bozeman, who's now with the Chargers, who was in Baltimore for a little while, he was in Amarillo and like called in, and I was like, dude, are you gonna do the steak challenge at the Big Texan? And he was like, I don't know, man, I hadn't thought about it. I'm like, bro, what are you? You're in Amarillo, like you have to attempt it. And so he did, and he went and he ate whatever it is, a 72-ounce steak and all the fixings in an hour. And the next morning, he called back in, and he was like yelling from the bathroom, he said, I don't know how good this is going to be. I said, brother, this feels like you calling in after winning the Super Bowl. Like, that is an accomplishment.
That's a lot of red meat there.
Yeah, it's nuts, right? 100%. Hey, I want to pose this to you generically because we're having this conversation in Baltimore right now. The Ravens had like overhauled a lot of their offensive line this year. They've got 3 new starters who are all inexperienced, like they've never been starters before in the NFL. You know, this organization has a history of wherever you're drafted, finding capable players, Gino Gradkowski's, Bradley Bozeman types. And so a lot of people around the NFL say, I'm not really worried about that because I just trust the Ravens so much. Do you feel like that? Yeah. That it's reasonable to have that sort of generic feeling of the Ravens are so good at this that even though it feels bold to turn over, 3/5 of your offensive line, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Eric's done such a great job of putting the right pieces in place, and their consistency has spoken for itself. They're always a contender in the AFC North. They're always a contender in the AFC conference. And there's a good reason why. The culture that Coach Harbaugh builds there, the players, the talent that Eric brings in, there's a reason why they're so consistent. And, yeah, there absolutely is a lot of reasons why Ravens fans should feel absolutely comfortable with the moves that they make personnel-wise. And the most important thing is the offensive line, especially when you're talking about, inexperienced pieces, is having an experienced center that can get everybody on the right place and exactly what they have there.
Yeah.
I mean, having him back is going to be a huge part of that, and that's going to really help that new offensive line gel and work well together.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think people like the idea that he's sort of like the captain of the offensive line, right? Like that overseeing everything, yeah. Tyler Linderbaum, and that does go a long way. I am glad that you mentioned that. How long does it take? Like what is the time frame for an NFL lineman that like, hey, by week 4 you should be settled? What is how long does it take to gel and to get over the transition period of moving into a role like this?
I think it's hard to say a number because everybody's different, and it depends on the pieces. Like I said, like if it was a new inexperienced center, that may take a little bit more time. But if you have a veteran center in there that's done a great job and knows the offense, that makes a huge difference and could speed things up. And it all depends on the players. I remember coming in with Kelechi Assembly. He was a rookie, and his talent and his physical ability, he was able to just jump in there and do a great job playing tackle his first year, and then he obviously switched to guard his second year. But I think it all depends on the players that are being put in there and the scheme and the situation. When you got a guy like Lamar Jackson back there, he can make up for a lot of things that may go wrong up front initially. In the beginning of the year when they're starting to get acclimated, and obviously having Derrick Henry back there
right.
is insane. Having him and Lamar in the backfield together is
got
to be one of the craziest duos that we've seen in the NFL. So I'm very excited to see how that plays out this year.
We're hoping that it proves to be nightmare fuel for opposing defenses. Am I right that you guys practiced at Stevenson during training camp in 2012?
I can't remember.
I feel like there were 3.
I don't know if we did.
All right. I thought there were like 3. I thought there was like a Navy and maybe 2. Maybe it was the year before. Maybe I've done that math. But I keep thinking about like how cool this is. Like you spent an awful lot of time in Owings Mills in your life, obviously.
Yeah.
Like it's a place you're very familiar with.
It's so cool. It is really cool how this is coming full circle and getting my first opportunity as an offensive coordinator, where I got my first opportunity as an NFL player right down the road. I mean, I lived right off of Ricerstown Road there in Pikesville, and it's really cool, to be going back there. I always love it. I mean, last year we went down to McDaniel and passing through that area. I always get a special feeling when I pass through Baltimore. Just because of how the great memories that I have there, the great people that I met there. I can look back on it and have such a greater appreciation for it now. And I wish I had a better appreciation for it in the moment, but you know how it is. In the moment, you're always concerned and you get consumed with the process and winning and wanting to do well as a player and things like that. But I can look back at my time in Baltimore and have nothing but great memories there.
Dude, you always be able to carry that ring with you everywhere you go.
That's right.
That's right. And there's only a few people, a small percentage of people in the world that'll ever have those thrills. What about what did it mean to you to see what Joe did last year? Like it was one of these weird vibes in Baltimore, man, where like we weren't rooting for the Browns because we're not going to do that. But God damn, man, like it. You just couldn't help but be so freaking happy for that guy.
Oh, I was so pumped though. I mean, I've been rooting for Joe ever since, for his whole career. Yeah. Ever since he left Baltimore and went to Denver and then with the Jets and, bounced around a little bit. But it was awesome to see because, I just know that the type of demeanor that Joe brings and the talent that he has, if he's going to do a great job. So, it was really cool to root for him and to see him do such a good job last year.
Brother, I'm so happy for you, man. And I mean this. One of my favorite people that we ever got to know here in Baltimore. You're such a great dude. I'll make sure I come say hello before the game tonight.
Yeah, yeah, you better. I'll be up in the booth. Too,
oh, okay. Well, then I'll be right down the hall. I'll make sure I come over. First, congratulations, man. This is awesome, and I can't wait to see what's next for you as you continue on this journey, dude. I get paid by the other place, so I can't tell you I'm rooting for you tonight, but you know how this goes. I'll always be rooting for you, man. Thank you for hopping on with us this morning, dude. It's great to chat with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to seeing you tonight.
Appreciate you, buddy. Gino Gradkowski. Oh, one of the great guys. Love Gino Gradkowski. What a dude he is. My mind was blown, man. You start doing your prep for a game that you're doing this week, I'm just staring like, no. But then it's like how could there possibly be another Gino Gradkowski? It's like the thing that you're that's where your mind races to. Like, I don't think it's him, but also, how could it not be him? Then you click on the picture and he's lost a ton of weight. So you're like, that might make blew my mind, man. Love that guy. Love that dude.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Told you.
Does not look like Gino Gradkowski.
Not at all. It really screws with you. And we did a lot of events. Gino was the type of guy that like whenever you had anything going on, somebody you'd have a client say like, hey, I'd really like to have a player come out do an event, and like you'd always shoot for the moon, right? And the great part was you always knew that no matter what, somebody was going to come out, because if you went to Gino was going to say, hell yeah, man, I'll be there. They're doing a wing eating competition, I'll be there. Like whatever it was, Gino was all in. I remember him one day in the locker room was like, hey, man, can I call in today? And I was like, yeah. He's like, can I have my brother call in too? I was like, at the same time, and I think it was a Ravens-Steelers week. I think it was, like, he coordinated the whole thing. He did all of the guest booking. It would have been the best day of your life.
Yeah.
Like, he took care of everything. And we did a segment with him and Bruce at the same time, going back and forth, which was incredible. And it was all just him. which was great. I love Gino Gradkowski. That'll be cool to see him tonight. As Stevenson opens up the season against Rowan, and I'll be conflicted moving forward. Not tonight, obviously, but like I'm gonna have to be a big. It's like I'm a San Jose State guy now, right? Like because I just love Ken that much. Like I'm gonna have to be a Rowan guy.
Well, San Jose State's all the way out there. You can kind of openly.
Yeah, but what happens if it ends up being like San Jose State, Maryland in the Potato Bowl or something? Like that'll be.
I guess that is pretty tough.
That'll be tough for me. That'll be a tough.
Hopefully, Maryland is not in the Potato Bowl.
Yes, I agree. Hopefully, we don't have to worry about the Potato Bowl. But they played in the Potato Bowl before, Griffin. So
when did they play in the Potato Bowl?
Oh God, I don't know. I think it might still be Patrick Stevens' profile picture on Twitter. It was him on for years. It was him on the blue turf.
I'm assuming in Idaho, right?
Well, there's only one blue turf. There's no, to my knowledge, there's no other. Yep,
the Humanitarian Bowl.
Is that what it was called?
Was it 2008? Does that sound right?
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Between the Terps and Nevada.
Was it a Colin Kaepernick Nevada team? Is that possible?
2008 was that?
He would have had to have been like a freshman if it was.
Who
it might have been
on
a Colin Kaepernick Nevada team. It's not impossible that it was a Colin Kaepernick Nevada team because he was in his second year when they went to the Super Bowl, right?
Oh yeah, it was. He was the MVP of the game.
Yeah, he was.
Maryland's Darrell Scott. They did a co-MVP.
Oh, an MVP from both teams.
Because the game, it was a thriller. 42-35 Maryland.
Yeah, Patrick Stevens' profile picture on Twitter is still him standing on the blue turf. Not surprised that Patrick's not a person that's prioritized changing his profile picture over the years. Just not knowing Patrick, that doesn't surprise me even in the least. It's still him standing there on the blue turf at the Potato Bowl or whatever, the Humanitarian Bowl back then. Yeah, so I need it not be Maryland, San Jose State in the Potato Bowl. Let's just do our best to make that not happen.
Rhodey's Humanitarian Bowl.
What is it called now? Is it still the Potato Bowl now? Whatever. Who cares? Why are we doing this? What am I doing? Let's take a break. We got to do picks. I got to yell. Is Ken prepared? Does he know what's about to happen here?
Yeah, they call it the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
This is going to be. I don't know that we're even going to get the picks. Like legitimately, I don't know that I'm going to be capable of transitioning into picks in this segment because what has happened is a monstrosity. If you missed yesterday's show, we had a fantasy football draft.
It's a great leather jacket, too, that Patrick's got.
It is. It is a quality leather jacket. I agree with that.
Multiple reasons to never change it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. It's a great picture. It's the blue turf. It's the leather jacket, the whole thing. Like, why would you change that profile picture? That's fair, too. You're not wrong. That's also fair. But it's also Patrick's MO. I guarantee he has not spent 1 second thinking about what his Twitter since he started his Twitter account. I guarantee you that is the first picture it ever was.
He joined in February 2009. So
and the last picture it will ever be.
A month after the.
And so that was why it made sense for him to have it. And it's the last time he's ever thought about what his Twitter profile picture
123,000 tweets later.
And I'm telling you, it will be until the day he dies. I am close enough. He will hear. You need to send him this clip. Because he'll get a kick out of it. Because he knows that I am correct. He'll be like, you're right. You're right. There are some times when Patrick says something to me, and I'll say to him, I'll be like, buddy, that's the most Patrick Stevens thing that I've heard. Sometime. All right. Coming up, yes, we will make picks. KZ will join us, and I'll have it out with him. Don't forget the Arthur Millette Show kicks off next Tuesday night. We will be at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Can't wait to see you. We'll be doing it every other Tuesday night, more or less, throughout the course of the season. There are times that those dates will change because of like a Monday night game or a Thursday night game and bye week, things like that. So what you need to do is you need to go to PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. That's MAULET, PressBoxOnline.com/Millette, and you can look at the schedule for the majority of the season. But just commit now to being out there with us this Tuesday night, the first Arthur Millette show of the year, the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. We will see you there for the first Arthur Millette show. It's all brought to you by Easy Pass Maryland, as well as 1-800-GAMBLER and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. Picks next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at BaltimoreGolfAcademy.com.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Owings Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Hagerstown, Maryland, a snapshot of American history that dates back centuries. Today, the roots of the city expand with another historical moment, the grand opening of Meredith Park, Hagerstown's new event stadium and home to the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Experience the energy, culture, and adventure. Plan your getaway today at America's newest and most innovative ballpark. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas's 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with two sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. Ravens-Chiefs tonight to open up the NFL season. High school sports season opened up 2 weeks ago, and you can get every result, every score from every team, every sport, everywhere across the state by going to countysports.zone, which is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. And it's not just the scores. It's also that they have polls, rankings, schedules, news, everything that you could possibly need to know related to high school sports in the state of Maryland, and not just the big, MIAA, IAAM, but every public school, every county, everything is right there. countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. All right, so is he there?
Yeah.
I mean, you realize that you're taking a whooping today, right, Zalis? You realize that.
About what?
About what? About what?
What are you talking about?
What was that yesterday? What happened?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
When
the Orioles got killed.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't.
They lost to the worst team. They lost to the worst team.
It wasn't great.
I mean,
Right.
how many times? I mean, they took 2 out of 3.
This is a man with a background in politics, because no matter what you bring up, he's gonna move that topic right somewhere else. You're gonna say, "Hey, what's going on with fracking?" And he's gonna say, "You know what the American people care about? The Orioles losing last night." That's what he's going to do, because he has a background in politics. Just here, my theory, and I and I love you, all right? So let's get that out of the way. But you're getting up there a little bit. I am. My theory is this is old man Zalis, and you confused our league with another league where you had these cockamamie rules, and so you thought that was the league, and you set the league up for that. And then when everybody realized it was too late for us to fix it. Is my theory correct?
Sure, I guess. You know what? I run a bunch of leagues, and at the end of each year, I reset them. And if I change this one,
you
I don't. It's the only league I have. It's the only league I have that's a 2-quarterback league that I run now. So I don't know what I did.
It's dramatically changed to the point where I have no idea if I had it. I
changed one thing. What else changed besides the quarterback?
I selected Derek Carr in a fantasy football draft, Ken. That should never happen.
I took Baker Mayfield.
Yes. It should never, ever, ever be like that. What are we doing? I don't know.
You'll be fine.
I have no idea if I have a good team or not. I have no idea if I had a good draft or not. I have no idea of anything whatsoever. I don't know what happened yesterday. My head still hurts.
If you lose, just panic and drop everybody.
Just panic, go ahead and drop everyone and see what I can do. Here's my question for most legitimate leagues. In 2 different leagues, I got the combo that I wanted at quarterback. I got Jaden Daniels and Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. I am nervous about starting Jaden Daniels week 1. Like, I know that I took him because I believe he's going to be special, but I want to see it before I do it, and Jared Goff's a pretty good option, so I'd like to start him week 1. Your boy Joe Serpico's like, nah, dude, if you took Jaden Daniels because you believed in him, start him. Where are you with that?
I'm a big fan of Joe Serpico, but he couldn't be more wrong.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't start Daniels. I wouldn't start Williams. I wouldn't start Nix. I wouldn't start any of these rookies in week 1 if I have an option such as Jared Goff, who is playing in what Vegas feels could be the highest scoring game of the week.
Right.
Jared Goff, first of all, highly underranked in fantasy circles. I still don't understand it. You look at the offense he plays in, you look at the numbers he put up last year. I don't get it. I think that Daniels will be really, really good, but I look at the weapons that are surrounding him, and then I look at the weapons that are surrounding Goff, and the only thing you're hoping for is a rushing touchdown from Daniels. Now, it could happen, but for week 1, if I have a solid option, as you do, I'm starting the solid option.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where, now in your cockamamie league, I don't have a choice because my other quarterbacks are Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, and Daniel Jones. So I'll go ahead and choose to play Jaden Daniels as one of my 2 for this week and take my chances.
You're complaining a lot about there
play
are
another
so
running back
many
or
leagues.
What do you mean? There's so many leagues. They let them be. They can be their leagues. There's leagues where they do all sorts of. There's hockey leagues.
That's fun. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a quarterback, tight end, a flex.
And somehow you put kickers back into our league. You put
the kicker was there last year. I know the kicker was there last year.
Oh,
I know it was because we live in Baltimore and it's unfantasy football like not to allow someone to take Justin Tucker in a fantasy league.
I thought that what we liked about this league is it was the league where we got rid of defenses and kickers.
We got rid of defense.
I thought we had 4 flex spots last year.
I think we put the kicker. I'm almost certain we put the kicker back last year.
Got a lot of questions. I'm not sure if you're the one we should be trusting about this topic, Ken.
I'm old. I'm old. Just look at me. I'm old.
I know. But I love you. I love you anyway. All right, let's get into picks. I would like to spend another 20 minutes screaming at you, but I can't do that.
That's okay.
We'll get into picks for the week. Pretty good week for a bunch of us last week. Ken Zalis was not one of them.
I was not. Well, how bad did I do?
You were 2-5 in week 1, KZ.
That's pretty bad.
Not great.
Is anybody worse than me?
No one's worse. You are tied with Kyle Ottenheimer, Paul Valley, and Andrew Stetka at the bottom of the table.
We're
John,
doing this again with Stetka.
We are 100%. No, I think this is now the strategy. I think that Stetka has now realized that if he wants out, he's going to have to go the try to avoid losing in spectacular fashion route. So I think he is purposely throwing the first few weeks of the season, and then he's going to try to get out of the league by spectacularly avoiding losing. I think that's.
I'm just impressed he's turning in his picks.
Ken, did you
got close today?
Oh yeah. So I never actually believed that he was going to be out of the league. Like I never believed. For those that don't know, we had a pretty dramatic a group text going with Andrew Stetka.
Which, by the way, I don't want to like.
Yeah, Griffin doesn't want to be in the league. He's just contractually obligated to be in the league. Nobody wants to do this. We're finally nailing down the date for Jeremy to come in and pay off his penalty. That's going to be apparently this month. That's going to happen, and then we'll deal with the other penalty that he owes us. I think he's forgotten about that too. But nobody wants to do this. It's just that it's camaraderie. It's ball busting. It's the thing that we can all gather together as friends during the course of the year and say, ha, look at Andrew Stetka. He's not good at making picks. That's what we like about it. And normally that's Griffin too, but Griffin got off to a 4-3 start to the season. So we'll see if maybe that changes. Top the table myself, James Revere, our newcomer, Jeremy Kahn, very significant change of pace from last year. Joe Serpico, John and Little Rock, Ryan Shell, all 5-2. Griffin a game back, Proctor 2 games back, and then as I mentioned, everybody else tied at the bottom of the table. Going into our first full week of picks, our first NFL week, a reminder that what we're playing for at the top of the table is a little bit of cash that I technically am now paid for because Griffin owed me money from last year. So I'm now paid for it. But a lot of you still need to get in, and you need to pay Griffin the $25 that you owe for picks this year. So it'll be $300 for the winner. And at the bottom of the table, the loser has to have a Brazilian. Like a Brazilian party, really. You're getting a Brazilian. You're going to get waxed during the show. Also, you're going to perform both Copacabana and Rio, so that'll be lovely. You're going to eat. What is this? Remind me what this monstrosity is called.
Couscous Paulista?
Yes. It's a sardine fruitcake, essentially. Like, more or less, we could call it a sardine fruitcake and enjoy.
Yeah.
It will be truly awful. Have we talked to Tim in Bel Air about his ability to help us, or are we on our own for that?
We might be
on our own for that.
But
one.
it doesn't look impossible.
Oh, but there was something else too that I forgot about. It's not just that; it's the shoulder, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and he said I think
help.
he was going to help us with that.
Oh, he would have.
Yeah, well, you got to talk.
But
to him
shoulder
about that.
sounds good.
Yeah, I think he'll do shoulder. No, I don't. I think maybe it's not shoulder. Remind me, I got to look that up because we got to put that into the penalty too, so everybody remembers what it is because there is something else in there. And then what's the fourth part that I'm forgetting about? Oh, yeah.
Leg kicks?
4 strikes.
Yeah, strikes.
4 strikes from
Leg kicks.
John Rollo. Yeah. All right, where are we going? What are we picking this week?
We will start where, if according to Terps recruiting, Kim Kardashian's going to be in College Park this week.
Is that real?
No, there's no way that's real.
I didn't think so.
But yeah, College Park, Michigan State at Maryland. Maryland laying 8.5 against the Spartans.
Go ahead. I'll let you have first pick here, Ken. Go ahead. Get it out of the way.
Party.
Why?
They stink, man.
I know, Ken.
How willing are you? How long are you willing to go with this particular bit?
Probably through the Bluebonnet Bowl this year.
The Astro Bluebonnet Bowl. Michigan State did win in week 1.
Barely.
A 6-point win over Florida Atlantic. So there's that. Michigan State. Well, yeah, you know what? Maybe that was just a 1-week thing. Maybe last year they were really good. Oh, no, they went 4-8 last year, including losing at home by 22 points to Maryland.
Yeah.
Look, man, I get it. It's a trap. Admiral Akbar would say, it's a trap. I'm picking Maryland.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I would have needed that number at 2 touchdowns gets interesting to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think this should look. I guess 50-7 probably it shouldn't be 50-7.
I don't think it's going to.
But I think this should look close to the UConn game, at least in the first half. Michigan State has not played well against Maryland the last couple seasons, as you mentioned. So yeah, Terps Terps by more than 8.5 for sure. Ken, big opportunity for you because you are a lone wolf.
Go ahead.
All right.
Do it, Ken. Do it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Yes.
It doesn't make up for yesterday, but
everyone on Maryland except for Ken.
Yeah.
Then we go to the Big House. It is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, number 10 ranked Michigan, hosting number 3 Texas. Texas is 7.5-point favorites going on the road.
Well, 'cause it's so hard to know what Michigan is. Like, this is really, really difficult, man. Like, I think Michigan might be a money laundering scheme this season. Like, just we all know what we did. We're going to have to deal with it. We're not a real football team right now, but who cares because we won a national championship last year, so the hell with anything else. At the same time, believing in Texas is something I'm still going to have to get used to the idea of, right? Like, we're still dealing with the fact that Texas is the program that lost twice to Maryland in recent memory. Like, having uber confidence in Texas is just not something that I'm sure that I'm ready to do just yet. Now, everybody in the college football world is telling me Texas is for real. They are every ounce a national championship contender this season. They are, but like, we've played this game before. The Texas is back. I hate 7.5. God, I hate 7.5. But it also feels like it's 7.5 because they want you to bet Michigan. They want you to see 7.5 and take that hook and say, get me in on Michigan. And so because of that, like a dope, I'm sticking with Texas.
Yeah, I want to see Michigan win a game when they don't know what the other team's plays calls are. So I'm going to take Texas here.
They don't have to win the game, though. They only have to get a backdoor cover in order for this.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think the 7.5, you're just begging people to take Michigan.
That's what it feels like to me.
It really feels that way. I think most people that supposedly are smarter than we are keep on telling us that Michigan's down. They lost, besides all the off-field stuff, new coaching staff to a degree, lost a lot of their offensive firepower. Texas is supposed to contend for a national championship, so you got to go and win this game and win it big.
I'm not as nearly as down on Michigan, I think, as everyone else is. I think they're still very good, and I think they're probably a top 10 team in the country, at least right now. I think they could be one of the 4 or 5 Big Ten teams in the playoff as well. So 7.5 at home is way too much for me. The total is also 42.5, so they think it's going to be like a lower scoring game. I think Michigan can definitely keep this within a touchdown. So I will take the Wolverines, take back in that defense. If
the answer is you still believe in the defense,
yeah, the defense.
They still have enough
that
parts.
is what I believe in.
Yeah. All right.
You know who was a top 10 team a week ago?
Florida State.
Well, I mean,
Florida State
they shouldn't have been. They just didn't re-release the rankings. So, all right. So, joining me on Michigan is Jeremy Kahn, Joe Serpico, John in Little Rock, Paul Valley. Make sure I get one because James goes by James.
Yes.
His email.
I know. I saw, but it's James.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah. So Paul Valley on Michigan, Ryan Shell on Michigan, and of course Kyle Ottenheimer on Michigan. Even though he says he does not believe it.
I mean, come on.
Everybody else wants Texas. Then we go to this is not the premier Saturday night game because that's Nebraska, Colorado.
God sakes with you.
But number 14 Tennessee, they go to Charlotte to take on NC State at the Panthers Stadium. That game's at 7:30.
Well, it's the Duke's Mayo Bowl Classic.
Yeah, the Duke's Mayo Bowl
Please show some respect for the history of the Duke's Mayo Bowl Classic.
Tennessee laying 8.
I hope they make them wear hats afterwards. I hope that after the game they force the coach to put on a Duke's Mayo Bowl Classic hat and T-shirt.
Dumping mayo on them in week 2.
Apparently, all the smart money here is on NC State. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about NC State at all. What I will tell you is that betting against Tennessee in a big spot feels right to me. So with the number being elevated, I'm going NC State here.
Didn't NC State struggle last week at some tomato can?
Yeah, they played was it Western Carolina? I think it might have been
mighty Western Carolina, please.
North Carolina State is one of those teams that never gets talked about, and then all of a sudden you look at them and they're usually 7-1 before they fall off the face of the earth. But again, everybody's telling me that Tennessee's one of those teams that could surprise some people and get into the tournament. I'm going to take Tennessee here.
I'm going to take Tennessee as well. I'm kind of with you. Shy away from Tennessee in big spots, but is this really a big spot?
It's the Duke's Mayo Bowl Classic.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Maybe in October and on, I'll be more inclined
Mayo
to
Bowl
fade
Classic.
Tennessee. But right now, Nico, I guess I'm not going to be able to say his name. Nico Iamaleava?
Yeah.
I'm
alive. Yes.
Yes, but I like him. He looked good last week. So.
Ken actually got terrified just looking at it.
I know they're playing Chattanooga, but yeah, they looked good last week. So yeah, give me the Vols by 8. I am on Tennessee along with Andrew Stecca. James Revere is on Tennessee along with John in Little Rock. KZ's on Tennessee. So is Paul Valley.
All right, our first NFL pick of the year.
First NFL pick of the year will be in Brazil.
The
NFL
won't be tweeting about it.
The NFL Sao Paulo game. Yeah, so
Nobody in Brazil
just
can
people
tweet
from home will.
Yeah, I mean, people the NFL accounts can tweet from here, but no one who's in Brazil. Will
Game's exclusively on Peacock, by the way.
Yes.
8:15 tomorrow night. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites, as both teams will be wearing white and black, like contrasting each other. Right? They can't wear green.
Oh, right. I do remember that. Well, I thought that was just in the city. Is that
it? So? I mean, yeah, it is. Like, they got football players. Like, is anyone really going to mess with them?
I don't want to get involved in the geopolitical conversation. If we could pass on that this morning, I'd be good.
It plays a factor here.
I have no idea how to pick this game. Like, I'm still so alarmed by what happened to the Eagles last season that there very much is you got to show me that you've moved past that, like, before I fully embrace you. That said, their offense should be indefensible. Like, there should be absolutely no way to account for everything they bring to the table. I like the Packers, but the Packers to me are good. The Eagles, if they're at their level, to me are great. I'm going to pick the Eagles, but I am still very scarred by what in the ever-loving F happened to them, and have they completely moved on from it? Everything about that still is extraordinarily mind-boggling from last year.
So a lot of people that are still in Philly hate each other right now because somebody hated somebody at the end of last year because what we saw was just historic. I don't know that Barkley fixes all that. You're playing with a new center for the first time in a decade. I don't know how much that affects the things that they like to do. Offensively, yeah, they should be absolutely fantastic, but they were absolutely fantastic for 11 weeks last year, and then all of a sudden their quarterback stunk. Now, was that the quarterback? Was that him fighting with the coach? Coach is still there. I don't know, but Green Bay's a really good team, and they showed they were a really good team last year, and they have, they don't have that superstar on offense, but they have a myriad of offensive weapons. I'm going to take the points here and take Green Bay.
Okay.
It's not, it's you lose the home field advantage type thing. I don't know what kind of field they're playing on and what colors anybody's going to be wearing, but I'm just going to take the points in Green Bay because Philly, I kind of feel, like we said about some other teams, Philly's got to show me that they're back together again before I trust them.
Packers apparently will be wearing their green jerseys, by the way.
So it's just in the city, you're not allowed to wear green.
I mean, I'm I agree. Like, on paper, the Eagles' offense should be really good, but I am just completely out on them. And until I see it, I'm not going to be able to pick the Eagles. So yeah, I'm going with the Packers as well. And just solely based on how their seasons ended a year ago. The Packers looking like an actual football team, the Eagles not. We are split on this one. 6 of us on the Packers, 6 on the Eagles. Myself, KZ, Ryan Shell is on the Packers. John Proctor, John in Little Rock. And Jeremy and James.
No.
Is that 7? Maybe it was 7-5.
No, that means...
Yeah, Steck is on the Eagles.
Oh, no.
Steck is on the Eagles.
Well, it was fun while it lasted. See you guys next year.
To the first NFL Sunday of the year, Pittsburgh is taking on the Falcons in Atlanta, and the Falcons are 3.5-point favorites.
And they should be. Yeah, they absolutely should be. I'm so down on the Steelers as long as Russell Wilson is the quarterback. Like, I know how this goes. I'm going to talk a bunch of S, and then they're going to go down there and win by a touchdown, and Russell Wilson's going to look just competent enough that the NFL is going to trip over themselves to say, oh, the Steelers have solved Russell Wilson. But I don't believe it. I don't believe that Russell Wilson is the answer. No statistic this offseason has impacted me more than that Warren Sharp statistic about how they didn't throw the ball more than 5 yards downfield last year. I'm mind blown by that. Maybe I should play the points here and just say, hey, I got 3 points to play with, and the Steelers, they always seem to figure out a way to, make something ugly just enough that they can win a game. I'm not doing it. I don't think the Steelers, they have one wide receiver on their roster. They have a good run game, but not a great run game. They have obviously one of the best defensive players in all of football, but this is not like vintage Steelers defense in general. I think the Falcons needed competent quarterback play. I think they have competent quarterback play. The Falcons should be at least 3.5 points better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Falcons is the pick.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And what Atlanta did in the offseason is upgrade their defense. But the biggest upgrade is they got rid of their idiotic coach who refused to have involved any of his offensive weapons. And I can't wait to see, what this team looks like. And I think offensively they should be, even against a good defense in the Steelers. I think they should be explosive. So I'm gonna lay the points here too, and I'm gonna take the Falcons.
I'm not going to do that. I mean, I agree with everything. Like this Falcons team should be on paper be a lot better. They have a quarterback. They have a coach. But they're still the Falcons to me right now, and same thing with the Eagles until they prove otherwise. I can't go against them, especially when the Steelers do have that weird ability to make every single game seemingly, they're in every single game. So yeah, Steelers for myself. Glenn, you said Falcons, right?
Yep. I'm
on the Steelers. James, Jeremy, Kyle, and Ryan Shell on the Steelers as well. So we are in the minority, but you do have Stecca. So.
Damn it.
Houston at Indianapolis. 1:00 game, and the Texans are laying 3 coming into the Loud House, as they call it.
Man, that's tough, right? Like, what do you do with this? Because the Texans are the team that all of us believe in, but the Colts are the scary team. They're the team that, like, you're reminded, hey, they won 9 games without having a quarterback last season. And now they get Anthony Richardson, who we all liked, back. So this is a weird game because you're inclined to just jump on the Texans. I think I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to play I don't think you're going to be able to get the Texans as only 3-point favorites very often this season. So when I have the chance, I'm going to take a chance on it. I don't like that I'm going with all favorites so far. That feels reckless on my part, but I'm going to play it here. Give me the Texans.
So it feels very pushy to me. And because it felt pushy to me, I went with the team that I think at the end of the day is the better overall football team, and that's the Texans. Can't wait to see the offense in year 2. And you still have a really good young defense with a really young, pretty smart defensive head coach. So we're all looking forward to seeing Indy with Richardson, for the blip that we saw him last year. It looked fantastic. Sadly, it was only one game.
Yep.
You got the 1 week where we can be assured that Jonathan Taylor is healthy to start the game. So we got that going for us.
It is nice.
But yeah. I'm gonna take the team I think is the better overall football team at the end of the day, and I'll take the Texans as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep I'm taking the Texans as well, just following the same trend of, maybe it's naive to just base it on how the teams looked at the end of last year, but yeah, Texans look like the much more competent football team. I'm not ready to believe in the Colts yet, so I will take the Texans. Unfortunately, Stecca is on our side, but there are 3 backers of the Colts.
Why?
Jeremy, Joe, and John and Little Rock are on Indianapolis.
Very good. We got to pick up the pace.
Cowboys at the Browns. The Browns are favorites, 2.5-point favorites. And this is Tom Brady's first game, I believe, in Cleveland.
Wow, the Browns are 2.5-point favorites here. I mean, their defense is insane, right? Like, their defense is nuts. But I can't. I don't know. I really don't know what to do with these. Are two teams I don't fully believe in this season, and the fact that the Cowboys don't even want to try to run the ball is that's a wild bit to me. I don't know. I have to take a dog at some point, so I think I'm just going to take the Cowboys. So I take a dog. So Cowboys.
Really, that's the dog you're going to go with?
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why you're making us pick this game, I don't know.
They are two on paper good teams.
I know. I don't believe in either team. I agree with what you said. It's under a field goal, so I'll just lay the points and take the Browns, who defensively should be able to hold it down a little bit. We'll see what Watson and Ford and all that fun stuff, what they have to offer. But I'll just take the Browns.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns as well. Just being at home, have a better defense. I hope CeeDee Lamb scores for my fantasy teams, but otherwise, yeah, I think the Browns. Andrew Steck is on the Cowboys alongside Glenn, and Kyle, Paul, Valley, and Ryan Shell on the Cowboys as well.
Oh, good.
Sunday Night Football, Rams at Lions.
My season's over in week 2. In week 2, my season's over.
There's a lot of time to turn.
God damn.
Rams at Lions on Sunday Night Football. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites.
I like both of these teams. This is the flip. This is the exact opposite of the last game we picked. I love these teams. So 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Rams to cover. I don't know they win. Give me the cover. I just love these teams. I love everything about this game. Yeah. I'm all in. Give me the Rams to cover.
51-49 is what we're all hoping for.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yep.
Are we all hoping 100%. For this? Because fantasy-wise, we're all over this game.
Yep.
What a great way to start the NFL schedule. I'm with you, Glenn. I like both teams. I think both teams' firepower is going to be on display. It's the 1 week that we know that both Rams wide receivers are healthy. We'll see what happens after today. But I'll take the hook and I'll take the points and I'll take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams as well. I expect hopefully a close 3-point game, and whoever wins, and I'll take the Rams. We are in the minority. Steck is on the Lions.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
We are with Joe and Jeremy on the Rams.
It's fine. That's fine. Jeremy wouldn't have been good last year, but this year he's back. He's back, baby.
And finally, the main event Thursday night tonight. Ravens are going to Kansas City, AFC Championship rematch. And the Chiefs are 3-point favorites.
The offensive line versus Chris Jones storyline has been predominant for me as I've been thinking about this game the last couple of weeks, but I was reminded of these numbers by Benjamin Solak from ESPN yesterday. Lamar Jackson's been an underdog 14 times in his career. He's 12-1-1 against the spread as an underdog. He's 10-4 straight up as an underdog. The smart money remains on the Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens. Ken?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the Ravens because I'm taking the points again. I don't love it.
No. How could you love it?
I really don't love it. But the only thing that, each of the last 2 seasons, KC hasn't really gotten off to a great start. And I know that they have
Kelsey and Jones didn't play last year.
I get it. There's all kinds of reasons, and we'll see what Worthy is in this offense. They brought in Hollywood Brown to be a big part of the offense. He's out of the game. Hopefully they're distracted by the whole ring ceremony and all that fun stuff. I'll take the points and hope for a close game.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I don't love it either. I don't feel a ton of confidence in it, but I know I'd be very sick to my stomach if I picked against the Ravens and started 0-1 on this week because of that. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Ravens. 2 willing to take the Chiefs. It is Joe Serpico and James Revere.
No, that means we've got Andrew Steck. All right, well,
but you have Jeremy as well, so it's
there's something to be said for that. All right, you hanging out with us tonight, or you got to go to bed? Your bedtime too early?
Have I told you how much I hate the overall Ravens schedule this year
it's
because
awful.
of that?
Yeah, it's dreadful. I agree.
If it's a good game,
okay,
and I remain awake,
invested,
I will be with you tonight.
All right, very very good. PressBoxOnline.com/gameday. Despite your actions of this week, I still love you, buddy. Thank you for taking the time.
Love you guys. Talk to you tonight.
It's our friend Ken Zalis with us for picks here on GCR. Appreciate him doing that. Today's show is also brought to you by the print issue of Pressbox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Great cover story from Bo Smolka all about Kyle Hamilton. Go pick that up today at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Time for us to make our trip to Bowie for the week to chat with a member of the Bay Sox. And our next guest just got the call up to Double-A Bowie. He was getting on base at a 397 clip at High A and had stolen 42 bases during his 82 games at the High A level. That seems good. Joining us now, he is Doug Hodo. He is with us here on GCR. Doug, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Dude, it's great to chat with you. Can you, walk me through, have you always had this patience at the plate? Like, have you always known, hey, man, a walk is as good as a double? Like, have you always had that mentality, or where did that come from?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, as a kid, kind of being more patient, not swinging as much. I don't know if that was because I was scared or what, but kind of growing into the player I am today and playing in college, having an approach is very important. I think that's a big part of my game, using my speed and getting on base. So sometimes not swinging is better than swinging. So just knowing my game and playing my hand the right way.
That said, the stolen base numbers your first couple of years in pro ball, and I know there were some injuries, were not, overwhelming. What particularly clicked this year in that aspect of your game? Was it just getting the green light more often? What was it that led to such an explosion in that department?
I would say confidence is a big part of it, and just knowing my game better. Coming into pro ball, you kind of, as you go up levels, you kind of tend to question yourself sometimes, and I think that's kind of my case. And just having confidence in stealing bags and more bags ultimately gets you to a place where you feel like you can't get thrown out, and that's where I feel like I'm at right now, and I think that's a good place to be.
Did you, is there a part of you that it almost becomes reckless, that you almost, you have to, it's in your blood now, when I get on base, I got to go? What is the thought process? When are you taking off?
Yeah, I mean, there's always different details of the pitcher and the point of the game. I mean, it's not smart to always go.
Yeah.
But obviously when you have speed, it's a good part of the game to go when the situation calls for it. So it's more about the situation and the details of what the pitcher's doing, but you definitely want to use it if you have it.
He is Doug Hodo, the Bowie Bay Sox. He's with us here on GCR. Doug, walk me through, because again, I'm I'm 40. I'll give you that, right? So growing up, I was someone who was of course, obsessed with batting average. That was a statistic that mattered significantly. In recent years, when I'm around, folks, major league guys, not just players, but, folks in front offices, they will say, Glenn, stop caring about batting average. We care about OPS. That's the number that matters to us now. Where is that line for you? Because the old school guys would say, I would imagine you want to get that batting average up a little bit still.
Right.
But the OPS has been really good. So is it a, dude, I don't think about the average at all? What is the line between those two things?
I'm kind of in the middle of new school and old school.
Okay.
Obviously, I care about the average, but also I know that OPS matters too, and that's what most guys care about these days. But yeah, I'm a big believer in getting hits and getting on base, so I don't disregard the average aspect, but I also understand that OPS is important too, and that's just kind of the way the game's trending. So yeah, I would say I'm kind of in the middle.
What have been, as far as your priorities, and especially now as you get the call up and you're headed to the next level, and I presume that's where you're going to start next season, what are still the areas where you say, hey, I want to improve on this versus just continuing to show that you can do, you can keep that patience at the plate, you can keep that aggressiveness on the base paths. What are the things that you still want to see grow in your game moving forward?
Yeah, I think as baseball players, we always have something to work on, and we all have weaknesses, especially at the minor league level, or we'd be big leaguers. So I would just say just finding more consistent contact and hard contact, playing solid defense, and honestly, you said it, like, keep doing your thing. I would like to keep doing that, but also just build off of what I've done this year and getting better every day and improving in different aspects of my game would be nice.
We're chatting with Doug Hodo. The group of guys that you've been around, you, Enrique, Tavian, like, is there a place where, like, you feel like at some point the three of you could combine for like 200 steals in a season? Something like, it is bonkers what you got. Like, I think I saw this week that, like, the because of what you guys did, the Ironbirds are like 5 stolen bases away from setting like a new minor league baseball record for stolen bases in this season. Which is there like an internal competition among you guys, and how have you guys driven each other?
I wouldn't say an internal competition, but people say hitting is contagious. I think the same way with stolen bases. I think stolen bases are contagious too. And when you see your buddy steal a base, you're like, okay, that gives me the confidence I can do the same. But also, I would give a lot of credit to our first base coach in Aberdeen, Charles Bolden. Gives us that confidence and really goes over the reports of the pitchers and what we need to be looking for before the game. So just being prepared and having not only your teammates but your coaches kind of invested in causing some havoc on the base pass is really, really cool.
I know you have played all 3 outfield spots this season, and pretty significantly all 3. And I know that's sort of an organizational philosophy thing in Baltimore. Like, we're not just going to give somebody a position and say, that's your position, master that position. Versatility is key. Is there a part of you that appreciates that, knowing, like, you don't know what your future is going to be and where this team or, another organization might need you, like that opportunity to stay fresh at multiple positions? Do you feel like that's been a good thing for you as you continue your development?
No doubt. I really enjoyed playing all 3. Obviously, I like being in center the most, but having versatility in the game of baseball is important, and regardless if you're playing for the Orioles or a different organization, it's valuable. But also, I think it's just fun and refreshing to play different positions too. You get exposed to different kinds of fly balls and line drives, and you're able to create a kind of rapport with the guys you're playing outfield with in different spots. So, yeah, I enjoy playing all 3, and I hope, honestly, I can continue to do that.
That's cool, man. That is really, really cool. All right, so one of the things that as I was doing some background work on you, I did not know. I think, look, Texas baseball, a powerhouse program, legendary coach. I had forgotten that Troy Tulowitzki had joined the staff a few years ago. What was that like for you, being around someone so accomplished, so successful at this level, to get some pointers, and not just obviously for your game, but for making this transition and having someone so recent, someone that you had watched play so recently, to be able to pick things up from in order to try to help guide you towards your own pro career?
Right. I mean, funny thing is, going into our freshman class, going into summer school in 2019, we were there for about a week, and we didn't know Tulo was coming. And so about a week into summer school, we get the news that he's coming. We're like, whoa, like, we got a big leaguer coming in to coach. It's like, wow, we are very lucky. But as far as Tulo, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be here without his help and his dedication to helping us get better. And I think most of the other guys that I played with would say the same. But yeah, when you have that big league experience and you can bring that to the college level with guys that are still developing, just need a lot of work in different areas, it's huge. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be here without Tulo, and I'm very fortunate that he was able to coach us at UT.
It's really cool, man. That is really cool. I want to ask you, because I was up in Aberdeen this week hanging out with them on the broadcast, and I saw the Zorb balls, and I found out that the guys that were there were pretty obsessed with the Zorb balls, and so I just wanted to know if at any point maybe you guys were able to, because, like, I'm sure there are a lot of reasons why they didn't want you to, but did at any point you and any of the boys end up figuring out where the Zorb balls were, and were you able to have any competitions before you left Aberdeen?
I mean, man, I wish. We always would kind of banter with each other about who would win and who would win this competition, him versus him. But, ultimately, I don't think it would have ended very well.
Yeah, probably would have been bad for everybody involved. You're right.
Right, but it was definitely fun to watch during the games, and we definitely speculated a ton about who would win.
Was there consensus about like who would be the Zorball king?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was, everyone's kind of egos got in the way, so not really.
Getting the call up to Bowie. I don't know, it's just, a quick taste here at the end of the season, but how much do you appreciate the fact that you do get to spend a little bit of time here adjusting to the next level before you go into next season and the level that you'll be at?
Right. I'm very excited. It's been good so far already. And it's crazy because, I started on the development list out of spring training and then started in Delmarva after that and then moved my way up to Aberdeen and now I'm in Bowie. So it's been kind of a crazy year. And ultimately, this is my goal to be here by the end of the year. But to have kind of a taste of what it's like going into next year is huge. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
That's awesome, man. And I know that you already hit the first home run at AA, and I know that's not maybe quite the same as the first major league home run will be, but still, probably a cool moment for you in order to do that and remind yourself, right, I can do this. Like, I can do this at this level.
Right.
Lots of events. It is the final weekend of the regular season for the Bay Sox, but still lots of great stuff for you to get out and check out this weekend, including tonight, HBCU night, free pizza night. Tomorrow night they're playing as Cangrejos Fantasmas de Chesapeake, which is one of my favorites. The Straw Beach Hat giveaway as well. Fireworks on Saturday and a mystery bobblehead giveaway. And then Sunday, a Meet the Team Day, autograph photo giveaway. Just a lot going on for the regular season finale on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Doug, where are you on Twitter, Instagram, that Orioles fans could be giving you a follow?
So on Instagram, Dougie Hodo, and on Twitter, it should just be Douglas Hodo.
Give him a follow there. Dude, congratulations on everything that you've been able to do this season. We can't wait to see what's next for you, man. Appreciate you taking the time for us this morning. Look forward to having more of these conversations as you continue on this path, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Glad to be on it.
That's Doug Hodo, the Bowie Bay Sox. As I assume that's going to be our last Bay Sox conversation. Is it? Maybe, I guess. I don't know. But appreciate him taking the time for us this morning. All right, when we come back in, Stevenson Football, I mentioned earlier because we were chatting with Gino Gradkowski. They kick off. We're going to catch up with their head coach, Ed Hottle, before their first game tonight. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to the 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring locally sourced food at the Fresh Food Fest, a beer, wine, and spirits showcase, shopping, and fun for all ages. Check out the Maryland Corgi Cup, interactive kids corner, and more. It's the place to be in October. Visit maryland5star.us for tickets.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens star safety Kyle Hamilton, detailing his path from growing up the son of a basketball player to choosing football, being overlooked in the draft, and turning into a defensive unicorn as a playmaking Swiss Army knife in the NFL. Also inside, meet college football players from all of the area's D1 programs and some of the area's college soccer standouts as well. PressBox is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
If you missed Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson getting together early in the week to talk some baseball, you can find that at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab, go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video to watch it. No show for Stan and Eric Garfield because, of course, everybody's thinking about football tonight. So they'll be back next week. And then Stan, Ross, and Luke will get together again on Monday of next week, a more normal schedule after the holiday week this week, and not just the Labor Day holiday, but the holiday that is the return of football as well. So get back to normal schedule next week for Stan the Fan. All right, we talked about it earlier. Obviously, the Ravens kick off tonight, but not the only football team in the area that's kicking off tonight, as Stevenson Football plays their opener against Rowan at 7 o'clock. Joining us now, he is the head coach of the Mustangs. He's my friend Ed Hottle, and he's back with us here on GCR. What's going on, Coach? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Everything is good, man. Everything is good. Let me get it out of the way, right? Because on paper, I know you guys have a lot missing from last year. Like that's you. I think a lot of people look at it and say, "Boy, this is difficult to replace so many key pieces, so many key contributors." I also know that you've created the type of culture within that program, that there is a standard of winning, and that there are always depth and quality pieces. Tell me how ready this team is to just churn out that next group of guys that's ready to step up and help lead this team to another great season.
Well, I think you're exactly right. We prepare, and I think we work really, really hard at developing players. I think it's paramount in any level of football, but more particularly so in Division III football. You have to develop players, and we talk about that in the recruiting aspect of things. We talk about it directly with recruits. We talk about it directly with the guys while they're on campus. That is very, very key to our sustained success. And that is and always will remain the goal for Stevenson Football is to sustain success over an extended period of time. I think that you can look at, there are good football teams. We strive to be a great football program. And the fundamental difference in my mind between a good team and a great program is the sustainability of success.
This starts with I know a bit of a challenge to start the season. I don't know what's going on. I happen to. What are we allowed to talk about your quarterback situation, Coach?
It's an interesting situation.
Okay.
It's been a battle through camp, and tonight be a little bit different for us. We'll have a second game starter out there. But we think he's ready to go. We think Landon's ready to go.
Okay.
And, we're excited about it. And I think that, he's got a good group of guys in front of him. We've got some, I think the strength of the offense is going to be in the offensive line and, being able to protect whoever ends up back there long term So I think we're in a really, really good spot from that perspective.
Tell me about Landon. What does he bring to the table as a leader, as someone who's ready to step up for this moment?
He's a competitor. I think that's first and foremost. That's one of the things that I think jumps out to you almost immediately. Is he loves to compete. He loves the big moments. He loves the big spots. He had an opportunity to start last year in the season finale against Eastern. And did a really solid job. He's young, so there are going to be those moments that you scratch your head a little bit, but then he's going to rip one for 45, and you're like, well, that's the guy we want. So, looking at him, I think the first thing is he's a competitor. The guys respect him because of the intensity in which he competes.
Who are the guys offensively that are ready to step up around him? And I guess specifically pass catcher-wise, because, again, there's no Gorman, there's no Blake. Who are the guys that are ready to step up and take that next, primary role pass catcher-wise this season?
Well, to be honest, it's going to be a big group of guys. Unfortunately, we went through camp and had some soft tissue stuff happen to us, which kind of thrust some of the younger, some of the first year guys, into the lineup very, very early. But what that's done is it's kind of been able to create almost instant depth, if that makes sense, because they were getting snaps in camp that they otherwise may not have gotten. So I think it's going to be a bunch of different guys. Dion being back is huge for us. So we're excited about him. But the other 3 or 4 positions, they're kind of wide open. There's no Tyler Blake this year. There's no Pat Gorman, like you said. And again, we're going to lean on the offensive line. We're going to lean on Louis and those guys in the running game. And it's going to be, there'll be a bunch of guys, at those receiver positions that get snaps tonight, and we'll roll the hot hand whenever possible.
I feel like, by the way, as we're chatting with Ed Hottle, Stevenson football coach, their season starts tonight against Rowan at 7. It's funny you bring up the offensive line because, dude, I always feel like if there's an area that I have gotten to know about your program that like you are always churning out, what is it in the water that you just always find like really high level D3 offensive linemen?
Well, it's a priority in recruiting. Yeah. I think it's how we've approached recruiting. Really made a shift after the 16 season to get bigger and stronger up front, particularly in the offensive line. It's a priority in recruiting. It's very easy to think, your highest priority position is quarterback, which it probably is. But you've got to go out and you've got to find the right guys, in the offensive line. They've got to be smart. They've got to be committed to education so we can have them long enough to develop them. If you look at the last several years, all of those guys were homegrown guys. We don't get a bunch of transfers in that group. We want those guys here. We want to develop them. We want them to grow in our system. And again, we're really upfront with recruits that, you're gonna sit, you're gonna learn, and you're gonna develop. And when you have an opportunity to play, you're gonna be a high level type player, and guys buy into that and they respect that process, and that's been really, really important for us.
So on the defense side of the ball, I wanted to talk to you about Gavin because he just. First of all, I like him more because I know he's kind of an aspiring sports writer too, but everything about that kid screams to me that kid was born with an old school mentality. He should have had a neck roll when he was born, right? He just seems like he has a very old school mentality to being a linebacker.
He does. He is definitely a throwback. Should have played in the mid '80s,
right?
With the neck roll and the big gloves for sure. He doesn't like to be told that, but it's true. He could have played in my era in the late '80s. But just, I think what sets him apart is, he's truly a student of the game. He understands what we need to get done. He understands how the scheme fits together. And he's tough, and his teammates respect him. In fact, for the second year in a row, he was voted captain by his peers. So, we're certainly excited that he's back. I'm excited to see him play tonight because he is an efficient player. He's he's everything that you want in that Mike linebacker spot.
No doubt about it. Coach, give me just a couple of names that maybe I'm not, that you think are ready, that they're going to be taking a step forward on either side of the ball for your team this season, that we should have our eye on as you go into the opener tonight.
Well, I think you've got to look at, our defensive line having to replace some pretty talented guys. Another group that doesn't have a ton of snaps under their belt. Batami Fisher, Mamadou Sow, Chris Velarde, Gordy Hoover are 4 guys that are going to have to grow up very, very quickly. And they're going to play meaningful minutes very early tonight. And, we've got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. We've got to be able to control the running game. And if we can do those things on the defensive side of the ball, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. Those are guys that I kind of look forward to. There's some guys in the secondary. Brian Kelly's back from injury from last year. Hopefully he's going to be a breakout guy playing at the corner. Seth Freewald's a safety, again, who hasn't played a ton of meaningful minutes. He's going to be a guy that I think can step forward and make some plays. Christian Traylor on the offensive side of the ball is tailback for us. He's had a phenomenal spring and a phenomenal preseason. We're super excited about what he can bring to the table, kind of as a 1-2 punch with Louis Klauser. So, there's a bunch of guys that are hopefully by season's end are going to be household names. And the best part about it is they're all back next year. So this year's youthful problems are tomorrow's blessings for sure.
That is a good point. And I'll wrap with that, Coach. For this team to be able to, get through this season and make a push towards getting another MAC championship, what will have to go right? How will this team have to grow up quickly this year in order to be able to make that push?
We're going to have to run the ball. We're going to have to limit turnovers. We're going to have to play great defense. And, it's cliche, but it's so true. You have to be able to overcome the adversity of injury and adversity in game. Those are going to be, the key things that I think we're going to have to do. But none of those concepts are singular to us. I think that's kind of football in general. You've got to remain healthy. You've got to hold on to the football, and you've got to be solid in the running game. And I think if we can do those things, I think we've got a chance.
All right, Coach. Looking forward to seeing you over there tonight, 7 o'clock, Stevenson, Rowan. And if you can't make it out, watch it. Go MustangSports.tv. Myself and Coach Beard will be on the call for tonight's game. Looking forward to it as always. Thanks for hopping on with me this morning. See you over there tonight, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you.
It's Ed Hottle, Stevenson Football coach, joining us here on GCR. All right, when we come back in, we will get a tidbit, we will get tubular, and we will wind down for a Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Millette, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Millette Show. We will be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on Pressbox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. The Arthur Millette Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
The next Arthur Millette Show is Tuesday, September 10th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. It's brought to you by Easy Pass and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying featuring your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, at Owings Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, winding down for a Thursday edition of the program. Reminder, Project Game Day tonight after the game. Come hang out with us. And we'll either be, I don't want to say celebratory because there will still be the, hey, it doesn't replace the, whatever. Just come hang out with us and we'll talk. Whatever it is, we'll talk about it.
We're not allowed to enjoy the win if they...
We will enjoy it. Okay. And when someone, and you know what? Femi's really good at that. When someone ventures down that road, he'll say, we're not doing, he brought it up earlier. He was like, look, this is the game you're playing. You can only, you can't go back and relitigate what happened. You played one game. If you win it, it's a good thing. If you lose it, it's a bad thing, not the end of the world. We'll talk about it. Whatever it is, tonight, Project Game Day. It's better than talking about the Orioles losing 8-1 to the White Sox. I know that much. Glad I didn't have to imagine having to do a post-game show after that. Like, imagine. I don't think anybody in town do they still do a call-in on BAL?
Steve Molesky does sometimes. I don't think he does it every game, but I think sometimes he does.
Could you imagine having to do a call-in post-game show after an 8-1 loss to the Whites? Oh, God.
Well,
God.
I mean, like, it wouldn't go long. Like,
yeah,
would you?
I don't know. But
I mean, I guess if people are calling in, then you might. Like,
I don't know, but I don't know what the rules are in BAL. Like, I don't know if they just tell them,
right.
like, hey, we blocked off, an hour. You got to go fill it. Or if he'd be like, why don't we do a segment? Then, I don't know what the rules are over there. All right, why don't we do a tidbit, huh?
All right.
It's not like you knew that this is what we were going to do.
It takes a second.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, what you got?
All right, so earlier in the week, or I guess it still stands, right now Tarek Skubal and Chris Sale both hold the Triple Crown for both leagues. Tarek Skubal 16 wins, 2.51 ERA, and 201 strikeouts.
I mean, that requires us to still believe that wins matters, but yeah, sure, I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
At the moment, he leads in the three Triple Crown categories. Chris Sale, 16 wins as well, 2.46 ERA, and 206 strikeouts. If they both are able to hold on and lead all Triple Crown categories, it would be the first season where a left-handed pitcher won the Triple Crown for both the AL and the NL.
Well, how about that?
Yes. So maybe something to keep an eye on. Also, last night, Jackson Merrill set the Padres rookie record for RBI in a season, 82, I think, or 83. He set the record last night. So I wanted to extend the question, do you know which rookie has the most RBI in the history of
What
baseball.
rookie has the most RBI in the
In a season.
history
In
of
a season,
baseball?
yeah.
I have no idea. Eddie Murray.
Not Eddie Murray. I don't know how many he would have had, but it was less than 100.
Bryce Harper.
Nope.
Is it modern or is it
old?
Old. Like
100?
old?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like 1939. I'll give you the year.
1939.
145 RBI.
145 RBI. Wow, that is staggering. So that's before Mickey Mantle. 1939.
Mm-hmm.
But they were rookies, so and at that time they were probably young. So probably somebody born in the the early 20s, because back then rookies were typically teenagers.
Let's see, when was he born?
So who's someone that would have passed away in the 2000s, or in the
He was actually born in 1918.
1918. 1918. So might have died before then. All right. I'll confirm. Someone who's perished.
Yes.
Yeah. It'd be 106 if not. Wow. So before Stan Musial.
Mm-hmm.
This would be Ted Williams?
It would, in fact.
Ted Williams!
Ted Williams. 145 RBI. I didn't want to have you guess all of the all-time leaders, so I wanted to go to like the common expansion era. So since 1961.
Oh Christ!
The top 10, if you could.
Jesus.
They all had 107 or more RBI as rookies.
107 or more.
And I'll give you another hint. They all did happen in your lifetime as well. So the last 40 years.
Last 40 years. It's about to change. I'm about to be 41 tomorrow. Not sure if you're aware. It's gonna be
shoot.
41. Yeah. You better make sure you run to the store today.
All right, we can get the top 5, I guess.
Oh Jesus! I don't think it's gonna make it easier. So it's not Bryce Harper.
No,
what
it's
you're
not
saying.
Bryce Harper.
I don't even know where to. I genuinely don't know where to start for this. All right. God, I just want to think of Rookie of the Year winner. Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza's in the top 10. He's
Okay.
7th. 112 RBI, his rookie year in 1993.
There's so many super random Rookie of the Year winners that I can think of. Like Ben Grieve ain't on this list.
No.
Gunnar didn't quite make this list.
No, he did not. Gunnar, how many did Gunnar have? Like 80 something last year.
I thought it was more than. I thought it was in the 90s, but maybe I'm wrong about.
I see. I mean, possibly he had like 91. I see down to 92 RBI.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then maybe he didn't. Maybe I was wrong. How about Julio?
No, not Julio.
How about? Oh boy, this could get bad. Yordan Alvarez.
No Yordan.
Shohei Ohtani.
No Shohei. How many did he drive in his rookie year?
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is, in fact, in the top 6, 114 runs driven in.
Okay.
In 2017.
Mike Trout.
Nope.
Okay.
How
about I try to think. Pedroia was an RBI guy.
Not Pedroia.
I said that's why I said he wasn't.
Okay.
Pujols.
Albert Pujols is number 1
is he?
since
Okay.
in the expansion era. So 130 RBI.
What about Jose Canseco?
In 2001, Jose Canseco is top 5 as well. 117.
Look at that.
Runs batted in 1986. He's rolling.
Oh God. Let's try to think of guys in the 80s and 90s. Nomar.
No Nomar. He was 98. He's top 16. on the
Bagwell.
list. No Bagwell.
Piss.
How about
McGuire.
Yes, Mark McGuire.
Yeah?
Yeah, that was the hit I was about to give you. Teammate of Jose Canseco in 1987. Mark McGuire drove in 118 the following year.
Okay. Darryl Strawberry.
No Darryl Strawberry.
Cal.
Cal had 92, 93. He's not.
Oh, and he was 82 anyway. He wasn't a rookie.
He was 82.
Who? I'm missing how many?
You're missing. All right, if we're doing the top 5, you're missing 2 in the top 5. Jesus. And then we're missing 8 through 10. So if we can get the top 7, that'd be great.
All right, give me some hints.
All right, it happened in the last 5 seasons. Number 2 on the
Last
list.
5
120 runs driven in 2019.
2019. Pete Alonso?
Pete Alonso had
It's crazy to think that Pete Alonso was only a rookie in 2019. Yeah, like, he already feels like
he feels like he's a grizzled
right?
vet.
That's nuts.
And the other one, he was a Seattle Mariner in 1984. Oh, God. By the way, these hats, I love them.
Seattle Mariner.
Like the star and then like the
those
trident.
Are dope. Those are dope. 1984 Seattle. Is that Alvin Davis?
Alvin Davis is correct. Top 5, 116 RBI in 1986 for Al Davis. Ryan Zimmerman had 110 in 2006.
Okay.
Carlos Beltran 108 in 1999. And then Jose Abreu 107 in 2014.
That was a good one. He was a rookie of the year for sure. All right, very good. Let's get tubular.
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Yeah, you know what you're watching tonight. Ravens, Chiefs. Perhaps you've heard about it. It's a football match that's going to be
played. There's no good tennis?
There are the women's semifinals. That's coming up. But 8:20 on NBC and Peacock for that one. As I mentioned, Stevenson hosts Rowan at 7 o'clock on GoMustangSports.tv. And then somebody's going to be distracted. Very,
so you're going to be watching the game, or are you just going to have...
Brother.
I guess you don't want to say. Okay.
I don't want to. I've told people that need to know.
Okay.
There's going to be some distracted broadcasting.
Actually, I might tune in now. I want to see how this goes.
U.S. Open women's semifinals are indeed tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Emma Navarro, Arina Sabalenka, and then Jessie Pegula and Carolina Mahova. Yes, there are 4, between men's and women's, 4 American semifinalists.
Wow.
No one who's going to be a favorite to win the U.S. Open. Jannik Sinner, a heavy favorite on the men's side. Arina Sabalenka, heavy favorite on the women's side, but good on Pegula for taking out Iga Swiatek. That was an excellent performance to reach her first career semifinal last night. A weird match between Sinner and Medvedev. Very, very weird match last night. But Sinner does come out on top, so he'll face Jack Draper in the other semifinal on Friday.
Let's go Drapes.
A cool story today, the mixed doubles finals at 3 o'clock on ESPN2. Donald Young, who was always a lot of fun but was never very good, announced that he was retiring. Taylor Townsend said, hey, why don't we play together? They're old friends. Why don't we play together in the mixed doubles at the U.S. Open? They're in the final, which is cool. Like, it's a really neat story. That's today at 3 o'clock. Baseball today, Masson, Nationals, Pirates, 6:40. MLB Network, Twins, Rays at 1:10. Diamondbacks, Giants after that. Phillies, Marlins, 6:40. Then Tigers, Padres late. ESPN Plus, Astros, Reds at 1:10. The MLB TV free game is Rockies, Braves at 7:20. Prime Video tonight, Seattle Storm, New York Liberty at 7. Mystics, Mercury at 10. Paralympics all day on USA and Peacock. Access TV for Impact Wrestling at 8. Some non-sports.
Steph Curry will be on Stephen Colbert tonight.
Apparently dipping his toes into the political waters.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. That is what Colbert's been.
Oh, I think he endorsed Kamala today.
All
so
right.
I assume that's what he's doing.
Kevin Hart will be on Fallon right after the Ravens game. Their new movie, the Peacock movie, Fight Night, the $1 Million Heist, that is out today. Or no, it's not a movie. It's a series. Sorry, it's a series.
Okay.
It's like Kevin Hart, Don Cheadle. There's some other stars in it. I forget who they are. The trailer looked cool. Like it looks like a serious movie. They're like, I think it's based on a true story. There was like a robbery going on, and they like staged it so it would happen at the same time that this Muhammad Ali fight was going on.
Wasn't that the premise of Ocean's 11?
That was that Ali?
I don't think it was Ali. No,
yeah.
But it wasn't like they were doing it at like
basically
a fight.
Yeah, but like this is, I guess.
Isn't that the same?
This is the true story that I.
Well, yeah, okay, that's a different thing. Sure, right.
But yeah, that's on Peacock. That's really it. New episode of The Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power, which I know you're into.
Nice.
And then
everybody's watching football. What are we doing?
The Perfect Couple, new series on Netflix. It looks it's like a murder mystery. It's based on the book The Perfect Couple. Nicole Kidman, Liev Schreiber, Dakota Fanning. Looks pretty good actually. Yeah, there's an Apollo 13 documentary on Netflix as well.
I would watch that. Yes. That's something I would spend some time with. All right, very good. Thanks. Not a documentary about the movie. A documentary about the actual Apollo 13.
Yes.
Jim Lovell, the whole deal. Thanks to Ed Hottle. Thanks today to Ed Hottle. Thanks to, by the way, you can find everything at glennclarkradio.com for Tubular. Thanks to Ed Hottle. Thanks to Gino Gradkowski. Thanks to Femi Ayanbadejo. And thanks as well to Doug Hodo. We'll get all that and Ken Zalis and picks.
Not really.
Yeah, we're still up in the greatest hits section of the...
Oh, my God. It's so good.
Tab at glennclarkradio.com. Stan will be in tomorrow. Bo Smokel will join us to recap the game, stuff and things. We'll do either pats on the ass or slaps to the helmet tomorrow. Stuff and things. That's what's going on. We will either be pleasant or very unpleasant. It's just the nature of the beast. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, the Maryland 5-Star, Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses, Live Casino and Hotel, visit Hagerstown in Washington County, Cruise, Maryland, Ocean City, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, the Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costas Inn, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com, and the Frederick Keys. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. We will see you for Project Gameday immediately following the game tonight. PressBoxOnline.com/gameday. Have a great Thursday evening. Go Ravens! Go Stevenson. Duke sucks.